What's up, guys? Magicalibra here today, and I have got technically my 2020 format Dark Magician deck profile that is still good today. But I wanted to upload this deck profile because I've been seeing a lot of other deck profiles of Dark Magician that people are actually starting to catch on to the combos that me and Julfer have been playing with for such a long time now. So I wanted to post basically the original deck profile that Julfer shared with me. It is not entirely the same, but it is almost card for card. So I just wanted to go ahead and post it for you guys because this is where the other people, they're starting to catch on to the types of combos that you can do with Dark Magician. And I wanted to showcase you guys this deck profile because the combos that everyone else is starting to catch on to, we already play in this deck profile, guys. So that's why I wanted to post this deck profile. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right on into it. But before I do, I wanted to make sure you guys absolutely check the description because I left a link down in the description for every one of you to go check out Julfer. I think it is $11.92. But anyways, I left a link down in the description with either 2 or 3 links to his channel. One's a video, one is the link to his channel, and the other one, if there is one, because we're still unsure about that, is a link to a video on why he explains what he plays in the Dark Magician instead of all the hand traps and stuff that everyone else is playing, or the Dogmatica package and stuff like that. So anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and get right on into it. And as you can see here, I have my Ghost Rare Dark Magician that I no longer play in the deck because it is way too valuable to even leave in the deck. So I keep it inside of this hard case sleeve. So that is absolutely beautiful. I love that card, even though it may be damaged because of errors due to Konami. Really loving the new sleeves though. Golly, that looks real nice. Real nice. Man, that looks nice. But yeah, let's go ahead and put these over here. And so I'm gonna go ahead and go over the main core of the Dark Magician deck with you guys, and I'll be explaining why we play them, not just listing cards, because if I just list you a deck profile real quick, which could take 10 or 15 minutes, you'll be asking questions. Why does he play that? Why does he do this? Why are you not playing that? So I want to go over with each card with you guys to explain why we play it, not just that I play it. So starting off, all you need is one Dark Magician and one Dark Magician. Nah, I'm just screwing with you guys. But for the main core though, we do play more than one. But for the main core of the engine, you only need one, really, for the main core. I'm not saying for the deck, just the core of the deck is one Dark Magician, one Dark Magician Girl. That's all you need because of the combos that we play, because we use Soul Servant and Magician Souls to first pitch this to grave always with Magician Souls, and then they can't stop that because it's a cost to pitch this. So you want to send this to the grave first with Magician Souls, and then if you have Soul Servant, great, that's extra. You'll then special the Souls, and then you'll do all your combos, go into Anaconda, send the Dark Magician with Red Eyes, and then you have 2 engraved, then you do Soul Servant, top deck, draw 2. So that's also a neat combo. But you only need 1 and 1 for the main core, not the deck. You do need more for the deck. But that's all you need for the main core. So we'll just go ahead and leave them right here until we get a big enough pile, and then we move them out the way. So for the main Dark Magician core, because that's what we're going on right now, and then I'll show you all the extra cards I play. We play 3 Apprentice Illusion Magician. Now, I want to make sure everyone knows that this is not just, oh, it's his neat tech. No, you need to play 3. You can play 2, but you need to play 3 because it is your built-in Honest for the deck. And Honest, if you know what Honest effect says, it says during the damage step. So usually you activate the Dark Honest during the damage step, which is at the beginning of, attack declaration. You do Dark Honest. That's how you activate its effect. But your built-in Honest, which is Apprentice Illusion, says at damage calculation, which is a step further than Dark Honest. So what you'll do is, if they play a Dark Honest or Honest, they'll do their Honest effect first, and then your monster goes to 0. Well, during damage calculation, boost it by 2,000 attack and defense. So even though it went to 0, you're still boosting it by 2,000. And you mainly want to do Apprentice on all your dark spellcasters, including your Dragoon, because it doesn't target and it's not once per turn. So having 3 of this card in hand is like absolutely rare, but absolutely amazing and satisfying whenever you get that in your hand. Is like, especially my favorite attack is with Magician's Rod. And then I love saying this, I'm gonna smack you with my rod. And they're like, yeah, sure, you go ahead. So I'll go attack. And they're like, what are you doing? I said I'm smacking you with my rod. And they don't understand because they don't think I'm playing this card. So I go, all right. And they think, yeah, your card gets destroyed. I said, no, it's damage calculation. Boost. It's a 5,600 attack monster right now. And if I have third, boost. It is now 50, 60, 76 attack monster right now. I said, I told you, I'm going to smack you with my rod. Go. Crap. What was the name of it? Oh, man, I forgot the name of my, rod smack attack. Let's go. Man, I love doing that. I almost forgot that. I can't believe I almost forgot that. But yes, we play 3 of those. It's absolutely necessary. It's a free special by discarding, because sometimes you have a Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl or one of your other cards that you don't really want in your hand. Sometimes you discard Soul Servant, but you don't really want to. You want to use its effect. So you'll discard. Generally, I'll discard the Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl, special it, so I can get a free monster on board to link off with. But also, you don't really want to search Dark Magician with this, because that runs into possibilities for them to activate Droll and Blackbird after you search, for them to Ash it, for them to Effect Veiler it, Imperm it. Usually, you want to burn their Ash and Imperm, and their Effect Veiler, but you don't really want them to use Droll, because once you do Droll on that, even though you get Dragoon out, you can't stop the Droll. So you can't really search anymore. So that's bad. So you don't really want to search unless you have to. All right. The reason I explained playing that card is because a lot of Dark Magician decks say, don't play that card, it's bad. You can play other stuff, it's better. Play the better stuff. No, the other stuff breaks you. All right, you may play a Dogmatica package and it may work for you. And it may work, but you don't have that extra oomph that you need that Apprentice allows. Even though you can pop a card and that's cool. Generally, you got Dragoon on board, or you got a Negate or a Banish on board, and it's fine. And then you just do Apprentice, and they're like, bruh. So that's why we play 3 of it. And speaking of that Magician Souls combo earlier, of course, you're playing the money card, 3 Magician Souls. I absolutely am going to be updating this whenever we get the secret rare copy, because, oh my god, it's going to look so beautiful. But also, I think it went down to like $63 or something like that. So that's also something. So yeah, we play 3 Magician Souls generally because, and I'm going to go back real quick, its effect its cost to activate the effect says send to level 6 or higher spellcaster, which we only play 6 level 6 or higher spellcasters, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we play only 6 copies. That's kind of a hint of how many of those I have in the deck. So yeah. So we only play 6. So that's basically 2 copies per card. So that generally means that always one is going to be live. You can always activate it. And generally the second one's always live. You, by technicality, you basically 3 are always live technically. But in real terms, generally only 2 are live, and the extra is just for discard or to summon and then do the draw effect with it and then link it off and stuff like that. Also, I'll go into neat combos with this card. I don't want to explain it all in the deck profile, but yeah, so we're not going to do that. We're just going to go, we're going to continue on. So make sure to also watch out for the how to play this deck when I upload it. So of course we're playing the 3 Stratos of the deck, which is 3 Magician's Rod. It also has a neat effect where you can, if you were to activate a spell trap on your opponent's turn, you tribute a spellcaster and then add it back to hand. So generally you'll do Eternal Soul, Summon Dark Magician while you have a circle on the field. Then you activate Circle, and then you Chain Rod, because they activate at the same time. I'm pretty sure they do. Most certainly that they do. You activate Circle, Chain Rod, tribute the Dark Magician, add the rod back to hand, and then you banish. Generally, they'll try to negate the rod, because like that's all they can, because you chained 1, chain 2. So, yeah, they can't really negate the Circle. I am going to double check. I know this says if, and Circle says if. So, yeah. But yeah, that's why I said they chain 1, chain 2. So anyways, also it's a low level monster to link off into, so that's also something. So that is all the main monsters for the Dark Magician core. So next off for the spells for the Dark Magician core, of course we are playing 3 Soul Servant. This is the heart of the deck. It is the soul servant of the deck. So basically what this card does is it top decks any Dark Magician or Dark Magician related card on top of your deck from your hand, deck, or grave. Yeah, from your hand, deck, or grave. Not the field, just the hand, deck, or grave. So that is sometimes, I sometimes forget that. So if I have to do it, like if I plan on putting a card from my field back on top, I have to like double check this card every time I want to do that, because I'm like, I'm not sure if it does. So it's also a quick play, so it's something to activate on your opponent's turn, and then, hey, look, rod, get it back. So if you need to set it, you can, but generally you activate it on your turn and then banish it, draw 2. So that's why we play the Dark Magician Girl in the deck. So it's absolute 3 of, you don't want to play any less, so you're going to need 3. Next up, we play 2 Dark Magical Circle. It's really great for banishing. You do have to target before you banish, so your opponent can then respond to it. But if you have the rod, then you do Circle because you activated Eternal Soul. It's a special, then you trigger Circle, then you trigger rod, and then they can't respond to Circle. So it's really good. But 2 is all you really need. I find that 2 is the best good ratio percentage for the deck. 3 will brick you. It will. So 2 is the best number right now. And for, I get, this is the Dark Magician core. So, you know, we're kind of skipping around a little bit, but, we play 1 Secrets of Dark Magic, quick play fusion spell. I know, Loza. I know. You don't like this card. I get it. And I agree with why you don't like it, but, you know, Loza, it's okay. But basically, I generally go into this a lot. When I have it, or if I search it with Rod, because sometimes I will search it with Rod. It just depends on the gameplay, what the current, what's currently happening in the game. Depends on if I search it with Rod or if I top deck it with Dark Magical Circle and Soul Servant. You know, it just depends. But if I already have it in hand, I'll generally like activate it during battle phase, so I can just do the extra damage, or like I'll set it with a Dark Magician and a Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, which is Red Eyes Black Dragon, or like another dark monster on field, which is generally a spellcaster or just any other dark monster, and then I'll just set it and then wait for my opponent, and then I'll flip it whenever they try to target the Dark Magician or whatever. So I'll fuse the Dark Magician or any of the other 2 dark monsters off, and I'll either get the Dark Magicians, I'll get Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, or I'll get Starving Venom. So it's just like, it's whatever. So long as it's a basic polymerization card that's a quick play, but the only requirement is that you have to use Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl in the material. So it's not that you have to use it for the monster you summon. You just have to use it as material to activate the card and resolve it. So it's also a ritual card, which we will be using in the new profile whenever we get all the new Dark Magician support from whatever that Chaos set is. I don't remember the Invasion of Chaos? No, that's a really old set. What's the other Chaos? I don't know. But the new set that comes with the Ritual Monster in it, which we definitely will be playing that. Next up, we are playing the one Magician Salvation. People are saying that this is basically your third Eternal Soul. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It is not a third Eternal Soul. It is a card that sets the Eternal Soul from the deck. It is essentially, if you're playing 3 Eternal Soul, it is essentially you take that third Eternal Soul out to play this. That way the Eternal Soul is more accessible, because that's why you're playing 3 Eternal Soul. You only need 2, but because you're playing 2, you don't see it as much as you want to, so people play 3. But now that this card came out, and it's a field spell of all things, so it's even... Not just is it searchable through all our Dark Magician stuff, but we literally can search this card with Terraforming. So that's just great. We don't play Terraforming. Just want to clarify that. But basically what this card does is when you activate it, you can set an Eternal Soul straight from your deck. And then if you were to special summon Dark Magician, or if you were to special summon Dark Magician Girl, you can then target the card that you just summoned on the field and then resolve the effect to special summon Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl only from your graveyard. So let me dumb that down real quick to make it simple. If you special summon Dark Magician Girl, target her, special summon Dark Magician from the grave. That is exactly how it works. You can't mix it up. That's how it works. And vice versa. If you special summon Dark Magician, target him on field, and then special Dark Magician Girl from graveyard. So that's exactly how it works. You can't mix it. You can't special summon 2 Dark Magician Girls or 2 Dark Magicians. That's not how it works. I wish it was how it worked, because then it would be easier to go into literally the one copy of the Xyz monster that we play in the deck. So, yeah. But our next card you may not agree with, but I am part of Team DMA, pronounced Team Dima. So that is Team Dark Magic Attack. So, of course, we're playing the one copy, the ultra rare first edition Dark Magic Attack. And I just want to clarify, all of you that are looking at this deck profile, it is the most competitive version. So, yes, this deck is super dumb expensive, but there are common cards, guys. There are common cards of this card. There's a common card of this card. You know, there's common cards of a lot of this deck that can make this deck super cheap. Except for the souls. But, you know, it's getting a reprint as secret rare, which is even better, and the price is going down. So it's no longer 100, it's more like 60. So it's better. Yeah. Alright, but anyways, the reason we play the Dark Magic Attack, and it's somewhat related to the Salvation, not directly though. The reason we're playing the Dark Magic Attack is not to destroy our opponent's back row. It is simply so we can search it with Eternal Soul on our turn or our opponent's turn, so we can get a discard for Dragoon. That way we don't have to discard whatever's already in our hand. We can use it to our advantage. So, but we also can search it with Eternal Soul. That way we get to play it and destroy our opponent's back row if we want to. It's literally there because it's extra. And it doesn't hurt the deck. Like, rarely do you brick with this card in your hand. Rarely. Technically, you could say this is the third Dark Magician, but yeah. So anyways, for the last 2 cards of the Dark Magician core, we are playing 2 Eternal Soul. Sorry, talking a lot. Hey, where's my soda anyway? Oh, I don't have one. Oh well. Anyways, the reason we play 2 Eternal Soul, and I want a side note, I love playing a secret rare and I love playing an ultra rare. I can't help it. I got secrets. And I think I got the 1 ultra. So, that's me. Anyway, the reason we're playing the 2 Eternal Soul is because that's all you really need. 1 is too few, 3 is too much, but 2 is just right. So, that's generally how it works with most decks. 2 is like almost the perfect number in most decks that, you know, like can brick. So, generally 2 is always the best number. But anyway, basically what this card does is it makes your Dark Magician unaffected by card effects. I want to repeat that one more time. It makes your Dark Magician unaffected by your opponent's card effects. Do you know what that means? That means your Dragoon is not your boss monster. Your Dark Magician is your boss monster. It's a Dark Magician deck, guys. This one card makes your Dark Magician unaffected. It's a boss monster already. Banish their card, attack directly with Dark Magician, make it happen. Let's go. It always happens for me. Can you do it? Can you win? Of course you can, if you follow my rule. Nah, I'm just kidding. But anyway, it makes your Dark Magician completely unaffected by your opponent's card effects. That means Super Poly doesn't work on it because it's unaffected by the Super Poly. Make sure to remember that, because I had somebody try to do that to me, and they're like, but it's Super Poly. And I'm like, but it's unaffected by it. Your card effects, not mine. Super Poly doesn't work on it. They were like, oh, and they quit. So I was like, Yu-Gi-Oh, bro, get over it. But what the rest of this, I'm sure you know what Eternal Soul does, but I'm gonna go ahead and explain the reason why we're playing the Dark Magic Attack, and I've kind of already did, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Basically, what this card states is that every Dark Magician in your monster zone is unaffected by your opponent's card effects, and if this face-up card leaves the field, if its face-up leaves the field, then its effect activates to destroy all your monsters on your field. Now, the way to get past that is that even if it's face-up, if it were to leave the field and go into the deck, it would not activate in the deck because it just wouldn't. I don't know how to explain that. That's, like, ask a higher judge. I don't know how to explain that. Maybe it's because, I don't know, trap cards can't activate in the deck. I don't know. But it just doesn't. But if it were to be sent back to the hand, then it would activate to destroy your cards. If it were to be sent to the field, it would activate to destroy your cards. I'm not sure about the Banish Zone, but I would suppose if it were to go to the Banish Zone, then it would activate to destroy your cards. So, yeah. But the other effect states that you can only use the following effect of Eternal Soul once per turn. So the other effect is a continuous effect, and the other effect is if it were to leave, destroy it. So if all three were to leave, they would all separately destroy your cards. So none of that's once per turn, but the rest of it is. So the following effects of Eternal Soul can only be used once per turn. You can activate one of these effects as cost. So you activate Eternal Soul, that's the cost to activate it. Then you choose to special summon Dark Magician from your hand or grave. That's fine. If you choose to add Dark Magic Attack or 1,000 Knives from your deck to your hand, then they can Ash Blossom it. But if you don't, if you choose to special, then it's possible they could Ghost Spell. But I haven't seen anybody play Ghost Spell, so most likely it will resolve. So that is all of the Dark Magician core. So let's go ahead and get on into the extra cards we play that are not hand traps, guys, because hand traps brick you. You can play the Effect Veiler if you so choose to, because it is a spellcaster and you discard it to activate it. So that's just an extra spellcaster with a different name. Hint, hint. So anyways, for the rest of the cards that we play in the deck, we are playing a second copy of Dark Magician, a Red Eyes Black Dragon, and a Red Eyes Fusion for the Dragoon package. Also, we are playing a Magicalibra Fusion with this package, but it's not specifically for Dragoon. But you can activate Magicalibra Fusion, banish these two, summon another Dragoon because it is a spellcaster. Because this card banishes materials from field and grave to special summon a fusion monster that's a spellcaster. So make sure to remember that. You cannot Magicalibra Fusion and banish materials to summon Dark Magician the Dragon Knight, because if you paid attention, guys, his typing is a dragon type monster, not a spellcaster monster. So I ran into that a lot. So I wanted to make sure I quoted that in this video. So yeah. But anyways, the Magicalibra Fusion is used for all of our... Literally, Red Eyes Fusion is the only fusion spell we run in the deck that is specifically for one card. The rest of our fusion spells, including Magicalibra Fusion, can be used basically for almost all of our fusion monsters that we play in the deck. So, yeah. Anyways, it's mainly used for summoning another Dragoon, which sometimes comes up, or generally we summon a Quintet Magician. Hey, he's coming. Which literally we can summon Quintet turn 1, but we generally don't. So yeah, so that's the Dragoon package for the Dark Magician deck. I honestly don't know if you can still see these over here, but like they're sitting over here. All right. For a smaller package, we play 1 Jester Confit. Generally, you play 2, but this deck profile, I took out 1 to play a little bit, to play 8 staple spots, not hand trap spots. So basically, we're playing 1 Jester Confit to help us, like, literally, it's not an activation. You just special summon it from your hand. It's not an activation. And then you link it off and go into plays. So it's also a spellcaster with different names, so yeah. Also, neat thing, if you have this and Magician's Restage in your hand, these literally equal Dragoon. And then you still have 3 other cards in your hand to do something with. If you aren't bricked. So, anyways, literally Jester Confit and Restage equal Dragoon. So, you special Jester Confit, you link it off, then, because you can only control 1 Jester Confit, so you link it off, make a spellcaster monster, activate Restage from hand, activate again from field, bring back the Jester, link them both off, Anaconda, Dragoon. So, still left with this card on field. So, yeah. We're also going to include 1 more card with the Jester Confit and Restage package, and that is a Dark Magic Veil. This is better than your Monster Reborn, because Monster Reborn specifically only special summons a monster from the graveyard. You can do your opponents, but that won't benefit you at all unless they're playing spellcasters. So you don't want to depend on that. So you want to depend on your cards, your combos, so you can get going, so you're not bricked with a freaking Ash Blossom in your hand, and you're like, oh, what do I do now? So we play the Dark Magic Veil for a cost of 1,000 life points to activate it. We can then special summon a Dark Spellcaster type monster from our hand or our graveyard. So we can unbrick our hand with this card, or we can literally bring back the Dragoon they just kaiju'd after they end their turn. So we just bring it back. We can't pop any of their monsters anymore because it's no longer properly summoned, so it no longer gets the pops, but it's still a special summon monster from the graveyard, not from the extra deck. So, you know, if that sort of situation comes into play, you heard it from me first. It's not from the extra deck anymore, it's from the graveyard. So that's also this helps out bring back the Jester if you don't have the Restage. So if you got to. But generally you want to save the Dark Magic Veil to bring back the Dragoon, because it is a Dark Spellcaster monster. I do need to grab a water because this is a long video. Alright, so next up. We have a Spellbook engine. We have 1 Spellbook Magician of Prophecy, 1 Spellbook of Secrets, and 1 Spellbook of Knowledge. We also have 1 more card, but it's not a Spellbook. It's just draw power. So, basically what you do with this engine, if all 3 are in your deck, then you either have the choice to link into Anaconda or link into Crowley the First Prophesier, which is a Link 2 monster. That literally adds 1 of these 3 random cards from your deck to your hand. So if you have it normal summoned, then it's perfect. But if you have, then you possibly could brick with the Crowley. So it is all up to you. I'll show you Crowley later. It's in the extra deck, so pretty sure it's in the extra. Yeah, it's in the extra deck. So anyway, basically how this works is you normal summon the Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. It does conflict with the Magician's Rod sometimes if you get both in your hand, which can help with the Dark Magic Veil to go ahead and normal summon you normal summon that, and then you can special the Rod, and you won't get the search from Rod, but you will be able to get more monsters to link off into. So anyways, you normal summon the Prophecy, it has a forced activation. You don't get to choose to activate it when it's normal or flipped face up. It forces its activation. It just activates. Even if you can't search a card in your deck, it activates. Like, your opponent can respond to it, and it sucks. But it's a forced activation. The activation of the effect states to add a spellbook card spell from your deck to your hand. So you want to search the Spellbook of Secrets. And then you'll play the Spellbook of Secrets, which this card states to add a spellbook card from your deck to your hand, which searches your Spellbook of Knowledge. And then Spellbook of Knowledge states to no cost. It does not have a cost in order to activate its effect. Its whole effect is to send to the grave either a spellcaster monster that you control or one of the spellbook card from your hand or face up on your field. Except Spellbook of Knowledge, and then you can, if you do, you draw 2 cards. You can only activate one of this card per turn. So, for those of you that call a cost, oh yeah, you gotta send a card to do it, technically, that is basically, that's not a cost. That's basically card for card. You play this to send to draw 2. That's what it does. But a cost is identified by a semicolon. So you have to do this statement first, and nothing can negate that. That's what you have to do in order to activate the card. So this doesn't have that, so you don't have to do something in order to activate the card. You simply just activate the card, and then if your opponent chooses to, they can negate it, or they'll let it go through. But I'm going to explain to you some combos that you can play with just these 3 cards alone. So let me do that real quick. So let's say you have this card in hand. So you're normal, you'll search. This is engrave, and then you play this, and then you send this, and then you draw 2. So literally you have this in hand to get 1 card out of your deck, play that, get 2 cards out of your deck, play that, send that, get a total of 4 cards out of your deck. So that's really cool. But if you have Crowley, then you also added that card, possibly. So you got 5 cards out of your deck. So it just helps thin the deck. Generally, you leave, if you have a good hand, you generally have 22 cards in your deck or 20 cards in your deck by the end of your first turn. So that's if you have a good hand, even if you get negated. So anyways, so you'll normal summon, search, and then possibly link off, and then send spellcaster, and then draw 2. So that way you can get a spellcaster with a different name in your grave. But if you don't have him, if you have him, instead, you can play this. It'll search this. You'll normal summon. It'll search this. You'll get rid. You'll draw 2. So literally these 2 cards search each other to get this card. If you already have this card in your hand, and let's say you have this card, you can normal summon this card, add the spellbook card. Knowledge states in its effect to either send a spellcaster monster you control or a spellbook card in your hand or face up on field. So even though you normal summoned, searched, you can activate Knowledge, send this to grave, draw 2, and that way you don't have to get rid of your monster. Vice versa. So you'll play this, search this, and then you'll activate Knowledge, and you'll get rid of that, and you'll draw 2. So it also works that way. So that's a little neat combo you can do with just those 3 cards. And since we're playing a lot of draw power in this deck, because we do play a lot of draw power, this is just extra draw power, we're also playing an Upstart Goblin. And I'll absolutely go into a 2-card combo with Upstart Goblin in the how to play this Dark Magician deck profile. So, yeah, I don't really know what to call this Dark Magician deck profile, so I'm not going to say what it is. But I will, you know, I'll think of a name for it, and then I'll put it as the title, which you would have already clicked on. So, yeah. That is all of the main deck, sort of. Now we're gonna go into, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 8. What do you call it? Not hand trap spot. The 8 staples spot that you play in this deck that you can easily take these 8 cards out and replace them with any other 8 cards to help affect how you play and affect your opponent to stop them. So anyways, Ash Blossom is a horrible card to play in this deck. Do not play it. Absolutely do not play it unless your opponent is quite literally always playing Red Eyes Fusion. Then that determines your locals, and then you'll main deck or side deck Ash, all that junk. So anyways, these 8 cards are Super Poly, which is our last of our fusion spells. We only play 4 fusion spells, which is the Super Poly, the Secrets of Dark Magic, the Red Eyes Fusion, and the Magicalibra Fusion. So anyways, the Super Poly is there simply to either get rid of your cards to go into Starving Venom. If they try to, get rid of your cards, you just get rid of yours first, and then Starving Venom. Then if they destroyed Starving Venom, hey, look, I destroyed all your cards. Cool. Anyways, so Super Poly, Twin Twisters. Now, listen, the Twin Twisters is not to destroy their cards. It's to destroy your cards. And the next 3 cards I'm fixing to list are the cards you're going to destroy. That is your 1 copy of Mystic Mine, because Mystic Mine, if you did not read its effect, I know it's horrible. Everybody hates it. I understand. But listen, this deck profile is based on you winning. It's not based on if your opponent likes you or not, or if your opponent loves to play against you or not. This deck profile is designed to make you win. It's not designed for fun. It's designed for topping your locals, going 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place all the time. So this is the OG deck profile. Except for 2 cards. So yeah. Anyways, so the Mystic Mine, if you haven't read it, it says that your opponent cannot activate monster effects. All right? And they cannot attack you if they control more monsters than you do. So if you have 1 monster, they have 2, they cannot attack you, nor can they activate monster effects. It does not say that they cannot activate monster effects on field, or they can't activate them from the hand, or from the grave, or from the banished zone, or from the deck, or from the extra deck. It doesn't specifically list where they can't. It just says they generally cannot activate monster effects. That means they can't activate them from the hand, the field, the deck, the extra deck, the grave, or the banished zone. They can't activate monster effects, period. Doesn't matter where they're from. No monster effects. So this can stall for game sometimes, but you generally don't want it to. You'll pop it with your Twin Twisters, or you'll get rid of it with your Magician Souls, depending if you can activate Magician Souls. So, it is a double-edged sword. So if you control more monsters than your opponent, it's the same for you. No monster effects, and you can't attack. So that is a double-edged sword sometimes, and it does sometimes become a double-edged sword on you, depending on who you're dueling. But generally, everyone is special summoning monsters, like left and right. So once you bait their negate, then play Mystic Mine, it's GG's, bro. I got the game. Or at least I'm a stall till I get enough cards. So that's 1 card we pop with Twin Twisters. The other card, or one of the other cards, is your copy of Skill Drain, because we're playing 3 spells and 5 extra traps, including the 2 Eternal Souls. So that's 7 traps in the deck. The only reason we're playing 7, you're really only supposed to play 5. I'm playing 2 extras because it just works at my locals. Don't ask. All right. So Skill Drain, unlike Mystic Mine, Skill Drain says pay 1,000 life points to activate it. Then the effect will resolve. The effect states that the effects of all face-up effect monsters on the field are negated. That's yours and your opponent's. So it is a floodgate. Sorry, a lot of talking. I feel like I'm running out of my voice. All right. So anyways, Skill Drain, it only negates monster effects that are face up on the field. It does not negate your opponent from activating monster effects. It just states that the effects will be negated. So they can activate, pay a cost, and do whatever, but once they pay the cost, if it doesn't get rid of Skill Drain, then the effect will just simply be negated. And I legit, I'm gonna post a video. I was dueling yesterday online on Edo Pro, and I wrecked a Drytron player. I wrecked him. He surrendered like one of the games. No, No, I beat him. Yeah, I beat him with skill drain alone. That's it. He couldn't do nothing. But it was great. It was great. I'm not going to go into it. But anyways, I'll post it. You guys will see it. It's great. But anyways, it's also a card that can definitely affect us. Kind of like Mystic Mind. Mystic Mind's a floodgate, so is skill drain. And so is the next card that we play. But anyways, Mystic Mind, Skill Drain are two cards that we can pop with Twin Twisters to turn them off, get rid of them, so we can continue to do our plays after they have served their purpose. Our last floodgate that we play is a Summon Limit. This card is surprisingly a pricey card for the common version. I think it's like $3 or $5 for a common. I think this one's like $7. I just happen to have it because I guess I opened it from the Blair pack when I bought it. So sorry I'm messing with this. I'm gonna just double check. Okay, cool. It's okay. But anyways, the summon limit says this is the updated version actually. The current updated version of summon limit states that neither player can summon more than 2 times, not monsters, times. It's different. Per turn. Negated summons count toward this limit. Negated cards and effects that would summon do not. So that's something you want to keep in mind. So if I negate your summon with Solemn Judgment, it still counts. If I negate your Red Eyes Fusion that would summon, it doesn't count. So that's an example. So anyways, basically, if they pendulum summon 5 monsters, that's fine. They summon them all at the same time. So they can still summon one more time. So that's cool. So summon limit really does affect your opponent. They really have to think about summon limit. I found a field spell called Summon Breaker, but realized it was actually bad because even though it's searchable as a field spell, it activates instead of summon limit just being continuous. It has an activation to end the turn, which your opponent can negate. So don't play Summon Breaker. It's bad. Unless you negate their negate. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, Summon Limit is also our third card that we use to target with Twin Twisters to destroy. Next up, you can play a Call by the Grave in the spot and one other card if you want. But you absolutely want to play one Ice Dragon's Prison, which will cap you at 5 traps. But this works at my locals, so I play 3 Ice Dragon's Prison because it just works at my locals. So that's a total of 7 traps in the deck, guys. So, anyways, that is it for the main deck. So, really, let me go ahead and explain the Ice Dragon's Prison. So, when you activate the Ice Dragon's Prison, it targets a monster in your opponent's grave whenever you activate it. That's the cost to activate it. The cost to activate it is to target the monster in the grave. And then your opponent has a chance to respond to it, which, in order to negate the Ice Dragon's Prison, they can literally negate it with a card effect that negates, or they can target the card you targeted to remove the target, and then Ice Dragon's Prison will not resolve. Or they can play like a floodgate, like Royal Prison, I think. What's the Royal card that negates all traps? They can play that. They can remove the target, they can negate the card effect, or they can floodgate you. So I think there's one other thing they can do. I forget. But anyways, that is it for the main deck, guys. The Ice Dragon's Prison, of course, it banishes, so that really does affect our opponent. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's go ahead and get on into the extra deck. After I take a big swig of water because, golly, I'm thirsty. All right. For the extra deck, let me go ahead and flip through these real quick. For the extra deck, of course, we're playing 2 Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. You only really need 1, but you play a second copy because sometimes you need to, because your opponent may be playing Dogmatica and then send your card to the grave, and then you're like, oh, well, at least I have a second Dragoon. because we do play a lot of Dogmatica Shaddoll Invoked or Dogmatica Invoked, and then you're just like, ugh. So you're trying to play against that, and I currently at my locals, I think they've learned my tactics, so it's a little bit difficult to play against someone that knows your tactics and knows what you're doing. So it's definitely difficult unless you know what they're doing. So then it just becomes evenly matched. But yeah, don't unsub, please. But basically, you play the Red Eyes Fusion for the Dragoon, and then you play an extra copy of Dragoon for the Magicalized Fusion, or the other target for Magicalized Fusion is the Quintet Magician, which we can summon 5 spellcasters literally in one turn, with 5 different names, literally in our first turn. If they don't negate nothing, they could Ash one thing or they could Dragoon one thing, but that's fine. It gets destroyed. It goes to the grave, so it's whatever. But yeah, anyways, so we all know what Dragoon do. He come out with 2 pops, and he come out with Omni Negate. So also, if he destroys the card, which if he destroys the card with the Omni Negate, he gains 1,000. The only way he can destroy the card is if it is in the main deck, the extra deck, the hand, the field, and that's it. Those are the only 4 places you can destroy a card. If it's already in the grave or if it's banished, you cannot destroy cards in those zones. They cannot be destroyed in those zones. That's a game mechanic. So you won't gain the 1,000 if you negate and destroy the card in the grave or the banished zone, because those cards cannot be destroyed there. So yeah. The Quintet, when summoned with 5 different spellcaster names, has the effect on summon to activate if you want to. So it's a choice. It's an activation to destroy all your opponent's cards on the field. So yeah. Also, this card is basically unaffected by everything, but it's a 45 attack and defense beat stick also. So that's also something your opponent has to deal with. Because 45 is pretty strong, like really strong. But anyways, about the part being unaffected. So what its effect states is that it cannot be used as fusion material. You cannot use it to fusion summon. Also, it does not count as a super poly target, which technically super poly doesn't target, but we're saying super poly target, so whatever. It cannot be used as fusion material, so no super poly. It cannot be tributed, so no kaiju or any such effect like kaiju, and it cannot be destroyed by card effects, so that's also great. So you have to attack into it. You can banish it, you can take control of it, you can use it as exceedance material because it's level 12. But yeah. Anyways, for our next fusions, of course, we have the Dark Magicians, which we use the Secrets of Dark Magic, but that's fine because literally, besides one Dragoon, literally all of our cards can be summoned with all of our fusion spells. So the Secrets of Dark Magic can summon the Quintet, very rarely, or it generally summons the Dark Magicians, because Dark Magician or Girl plus Spellcaster Monster equals, hey look. Then the Dark Magician, or the Dragoon, is Dark Magician plus Dark Red Eyes Black Dragon, or a Dragon Effect Monster, which we can summon out our Super Poly target, which is our Starving Venom, which is a Dragon Effect Monster. So we can also do that. For our other Super Poly target, because, we're playing 2 extra copies, we're just like 1 or 1 is Magicalized Fusion. So, of course, we're going to be playing a second 1-1 for Super Poly because, depending on who we're going against, they may not be using Darks, but they may have a Fusion monster. So we'll play Predaplant, Drago Stapelia. So, anyways, of course, as you know, Starving Venom, its effect states 2 dark monsters on the field, so your opponent may not be playing darks, but they may be playing with fusions. So this Drago Stapelia states 1 fusion monster plus a dark monster, so you can use your own dark monster and their fusion. So Look out, Mechaba. Look out, Winda. We're just gonna get rid of you. So, yeah. Let me clarify over the fusions. I know my voice is kind of starting to crack out, but I'm going to go ahead and we already went over the Dragoon and the Quintet. The Dark Magicians has a neat effect to where if you activate a spell or trap, you can draw it. If it's a spell or trap, you can set it. If it's a quick play or trap, you can activate it. Also, if it gets destroyed, you can special summon Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl from your hand, deck, or grave. If you already control the Dark Magician Girl, then that effect will not resolve because you only play one Dark Magician Girl, so you don't have another to special. If you have both Dark Magicians, same principle, same standard. But a neat effect with the Dark Magicians is that while it's on field, if you play Soul Servant, you can top deck Eternal Soul. Because you activate a spell card, you can then draw that Eternal Soul, set it, and then activate the Eternal Soul, and then bring back the Dark Magician, and great. Also, if you don't have the Dark Magicians on field yet, you can do Soul Servant, top deck your Dark Magical Circle, and then you can possibly it depends on how you work it out, but you could do Soul Servant, top deck Circle, use another card effect to draw the circle, then summon the Dark Magicians, and then play the circle, and then say there's a trap like Skill Drain or Summon Limit or Ice Dragon's Prison or whatever in one of those three cards with circle, you can top deck that trap, and then your Dark Magicians will activate. You'll draw that floodgate, and you can set it, and then you can activate that floodgate. So really great. The Starving Venom has a neat effect. Upon summon, you can activate to target your opponent's monster and gain attack equal to that monster's attack. So it gets really high, really fast on turn 1, but it loses the attack on the end of the turn. It does have an effect where you can copy your opponent's monster's effect, but we rarely use that. Be honest, I wish they had Dragoon. It would be great. I could just use its effect to have it on negate for the turn. It would be great. Wait, oh no, you can't target the Dragoon. Ignore that. Also, it's a neat effect. Upon destruction, you destroy all your opponent's special summon cards, so that's really great. And it's 28 beat 6 starting off, so you're fine. The Draco's Tapilia has a neat effect to where once per turn quick effect, you target a face-up monster your opponent controls as cost to activate. Then you place a Predator counter on it, and if it was level 2 or higher, that monster's level becomes level 1, and also it has its effects negated so long as it has a Predator counter on it. But that doesn't, if you're going into, like, if your opponent activates a monster effect, and then you Predator, put the Predator counter on it, it doesn't negate it, because it simply states it cannot activate its effect. It's already being activated, so it won't stop it. So, we are playing one more fusion. Generally, you're supposed to play Dark Magician the Dragon Knight, because of the way you play the deck, but because of my locals, I play a Dark Cavalry, because this is also a super poly target, because there's quite a bit of warriors that are being played, especially with the new Sword Soul deck, with their Omni Negate being a warrior. I'm going to play super poly and get rid of that if I can't stop their token, because that's how you defeat the Sword Soul deck, is stop the token. So Dark Cavalry is a really great fusion monster. In fact, it is my favorite fusion monster out of all of the Dark Magician support. It's a level 8 spellcaster fusion effect monster that's dark, and it starts off with 2800 attack, 2300 defense. Always summon it and attack. It requires Dark Magician plus a warrior monster. Its effect states that it gains 100 attack for each spell and trap on the field, that's yours and theirs, and in the graveyards, that's yours and theirs. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage. And when a card or effect is activated that targets a card on the field, quick effect as cost. Quick effect, you can discard a card as cost, negate that activation, and if you do, destroy it. So if they target the Dark Cavalry, discard a card, destroy it. Oh, they're going to chain again to target the Dark Cavalry. Oh, discard again. Just go up to like chain link 5 and 6 and 7. You're like with Dark Cavalry, because that discard effect is not once per turn. You can continue to discard so long as you have monsters. This is basically kind of our out to the Drytron's Herald of Ultimateness. So they're going to target our Dark Cavalry. Oh, we'll discard. Oh, you'll discard? Oh, I'll discard. Oh, you discard? Oh, I'll discard. Discard. It's just a discard battle. So I love the fact that that's basically our Omni Negate to cards that target. So that is all of our fusions. Let's go ahead and move on into the XCs. Currently, with the new set that's coming out, we are playing one number 89 Diablosis, the Mind Hacker. Pretty sure that's how you pronounce it, with the BLYSOS or SES or SIS, something like that. So Blosis or Blesis, Bleosis, I don't know. But it's number 89. Before, that was a prize card, and the prize card is currently worth between $2,000 and $10,000. So good luck getting that particular version of the card, unless you're rich. Unlike me, I saved up to get the Ghost Rare, so I can't just go out and buy 5 of these. I had to save up to get just the one. So if you got the money, you go ahead, you order 3 copies of that prize card. But the reason we're playing it in the deck profile, I don't have it yet, is because it's getting reprinted in the Brothers of Legend set. And even though it may be getting reprinted and they're selling it extremely cheap right now, I can almost guarantee that card's going to be a $900 card. It's going to be at least $500, like minimum. Like, it's already between $2,000 and $10,000 as a prize card. Even though it gets reprinted, that's still a lot of money to go down from. So that card is still going to be dumb expensive. So you should definitely pick up a Brothers of Legend set when it drops, or pre-order it. It's fine. So go ahead and do that so you get that. Also, the Brothers of Legend set, the Secrets of Dark, the Magician's Souls, that secret rare, comes in that set. So you also want to pick up that for the Dark Magician build. So anyways, if you don't have it yet, play this. Mecha Phantom Beast Dracosec. It's also a generic rank 7 monster like number 89. It's not a quick effect, so that's a sad thing. I wished it was a quick effect, but it's a 26 attack beat stick and a 22 defense monster. But you always want to summon it in defense and activate its effect, which is to once per turn, you can detach a material from the card to activate it. If it resolves, special summon. I have it somewhere. You can special summon 2 tokens, and it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects while there is a token on the field. It does not have to be a Mecha Phantom Beast token. It just has to be a token. So, special summon 2 tokens, and it can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. Then it has another effect where you activate it, you get rid of your token to target a card on the field and destroy that target. So it's a cost to get rid of the token and to target, and then you destroy the card as the effect, not the cost. So that's pretty cool. The Xyz summons randomly comes up. It just depends on who you're going against and what the current game state of the game is. So it works like that. So yeah. So that's all we have. We only play the one Xyz. Either play Mecha Phantom Beast Dracosec or play number 89. Playing both means you're trying too hard. You really are. Next is all Link monsters. So next up we have the one Mduck, the World Chalice Dragon. Every time I summon this, or if I summon my Jester Confit, or if I summon Artemis, every time people are like, what's that do? Are you going to do the effect? I'm like, no. It does nothing. Stop asking. But anyways, it's a Link 1 monster. It points up. We don't generally Link summon to point down to summon more Link monsters. Sometimes that comes up, and then you sometimes wish. Man, I wished I had Link Karibo or Link Spider right now. Man, that'd be great. Sometimes it comes up, but generally it doesn't. But anyways, what MDoc is, you need a one normal monster except a token to make it, and it's a dragon effect monster, so that meets the criteria for summoning Dragoon. So you link off the Dark Magician, summon the MDuck, and then activate Eternal Soul, bring back the Dark Magician, and then you can do Secrets of Dark Magic, Magicalized Fusion, whatever, or you literally can, you can do the MDuck, bring back the Dark Magician, possibly use another effect monster, and then tribute those two, make Anaconda, then do Magicalized Fusion, banish the Dark Magician and the MDuck in the grave, summon out a Dragoon, do Verte Anaconda's effect, do Red Eyes Fusion, summon another Dragoon. It all depends on how you want to play. Next up, we have Relinquished Enema. Also in the New Brothers of Legend set, this card's getting a secret rare, so definitely want to pick up a copy of that for sure. It requires a level 1 monster, except a token. Before we get into its effect, we do not use MDuck's effect. It is completely useless in this deck. It is only there to become a dragon effect monster, but generally we don't summon it at all, but it's there if we need to. And trust me, you're gonna need to depending on who you go against. But the Relinquished Enema, its effect states that you can target one face-up monster this card points to. So generally you'll summon it in your link zone, wherever there's a monster at, and you'll activate it. It's pointing to that monster, so you'll take control of it. If you have it in your main monster zone and there isn't a monster directly in front of it, then you can't take control of that monster and equip it. If it's right here and you got that empty space and then your opponent's card, then it's not pointing to it. There's a space between there, so you can't take control. So the way the link arrow works is it has to directly be right next to each other to point to it. So you'll activate Relinquished Enema's effect in the link zone to take control of one of their two monsters it points to, and equip it to Relinquished Enema. And Relinquished Enema gains the attack of that card, and if I believe it works like Relinquished as well. Let me read it. Equip that target to monster, max 1. You can only equip once per turn. Oh no, if Relinquished Enema were to be destroyed, it would get destroyed, and then the equipped monster would get sent to grave as well. Also, that equipped monster would be technically destroyed if that effect activates anything. So yeah. Anyways, not only do you summon the Relinquished Enema, I'm just gonna call it Enema. Not only do you summon the Enema in your link zone, if your opponent already has a link monster that is already pointing to your zone to summon a link monster to, bruh, you're pointing, like, you literally have a Bow of the Goddess pointing to my field, and your Bow of the Goddess is at 0 because I burned all its negates. I'm going to summon Relinquished Enema. I'm going to take control of the Bow of the Goddess, and then it's just funny. That way you just get rid of that card. Also, it's really funny when they have the access code and you take control of the access code because it points to your field. It's great. Next up, for our last of our link ones, we play the one Artemis, the Magistus Moon Maiden. We do not use its effect. It is literally a spellcaster with a different name. All three of these point directly upward. They don't point anywhere else. They only point upward. So, yes. Basically, you summon this card, and it becomes a spellcaster with a different name. That way you can link it off, send it to grave, use it for Dragoon's Negate, or something else. So yeah, that's all we have for the link ones. So I'm just going to put these over here face up because I'm tired of picking that up. Next up, we have, of course, our link 2s, Predaplant Verte Anaconda, to go into Dragoon or Quintet, or literally Super Poly if we know they can't negate it, because that would, it has happened online a lot, and it's absolutely hilarious when I do it every time. But yeah, Predaplant, let me explain real quick about Predaplant because people are confused. So with Predaplant, when you activate its effect, it states that you can no longer special summon for the rest of the turn. If you send Red Eyes Fusion, it's only copying the fusion effect, not the entire effect of the card. So you're only doing the fusion part, so you're fusion summoning monster and its name becomes Red Eyes Black Dragon, and that's all that happens. You can still normal summon. That's how that works. You can't special summon because Predaplant says so. You're not copying the entire effect of Red Eyes Fusion. You just can't special summon. So if you haven't normal summoned for the turn, you can still normal summon. So yeah. And vice versa. If you hard play Red Eyes Fusion, then you can no longer normal summon or special summon, but you can normal set because a set is not a summon. It takes up your normal summon or set for the turn, but it's not a summon. So that's also something neat to remind you of and to remember for future possibilities. For our other link too, we have Crowley, the first props here. This is the card I was talking about earlier in the video with the Spellbook engine. This requires, Predaplant requires 2 effect monsters. Crowley requires 2 spellcaster monsters. And also Crowley points to the bottom left 2 zones, just like Predaplant does. And just like our last link too is different. But what Crowley does is you take 2 spellcaster monsters, and then if this card is link summoned, you can reveal 3 spellbook cards with different names from your deck, and your opponent randomly picks one for you to add to your hand and shuffle the rest back into the deck. So you reveal the 3 that are in your deck, and then your opponent randomly adds one to your hand, and then if you have it normal summoned, you get the monster, then you can normal summon, do the spellbook engine that I showed you guys earlier. If you happen to already have one of the spellbook cards in your hand or already in your grave, then summoning this card is completely useless unless you intend to use it for its other effect, which its other effect states that you can normal summon 1 level 5 or higher spellcaster monster from your hand without tributing, which that does not give you an extra normal summon. It just frees up the restriction of tributing monsters to normal summon. So you can, for that turn, if you have not normal summon, I normal summon Dark Magician. Tribute? Nope. So yeah. The other link to, which, with the spellbook cards, if you already had one, this card is dead unless you do that effect. So anyways, for the last link to, we play 1 Nightmare Phoenix. Trust me, this card comes in clutch whenever you're facing against the zombie world or the, what's the other deck? Gravekeeper deck with their field spell. What's it called? I forget what it's called, but you know what it is. It's the Gravekeeper field spell. It prevents cards from being moved from the deck. So you just Nightmare Phoenix, discard, pop their field spell. Or pop a spell or trap card on the field that your opponent controls that is really affecting you. So, even though you were to activate a spell to pop it and then negate the spell, you can do the monster effect, pop the spell. So it's also really good. It comes in clutch. You definitely want to run it. For our last link monster that we play in the deck, we run 1 Selene Queen of the Master Magicians. The reason we are not playing a Link 4 with this card is because we literally, when we play this card, we bring back the Dark Magician to trigger off our circle or to trigger off any of our other effects or to bring it back and then activate other effects, so it's cool. We also bring back, it's any spellcaster monster, but it has to be in defense when you activate it. But before I go into combos, let me read the card. So what the card states is that if it's link summoned, place spell counters on this card equal to the number of spells that are on the field and in the graves. Face downs don't count. I guess technically face down field spells count because technically they can't be traps. So yeah, that's the only exception. So equal to the number of spells on the field and in the graves. while its other effect is End Dominion stuff, we don't use that. Its last effect we do use, along with its first effect, which is during the main phase quick effect, you can remove 3 spell counters on from your field, which this is the only one, so we remove 3. To special summon 1 spellcaster monster from your hand or your grave in defense position, so you cannot bring back link monsters, only your main deck or extra deck monsters that are in the grave or from your hand. But you special it in defense position to one of your zones that this card points to. So the bottom 3 here or the bottom 3 here. So the main cards you target with this card to bring back is the Dark Magician, the Dark Magician Girl to possibly trigger off the Salvation to bring back the Dark Magician, or to bring back the Dark Magicians. That way you can reuse its effect to stack to draw a card, because that part is once per turn for the card, not the card name. So you literally use the Dark Magicians to make this, bring back the Dark Magicians, draw another card twice. So that's really great. Or you bring back your Dragoon to get a negate, because your Dragoon got sent to the grave, I don't know, 2 turns ago or something like that. So you just bring back the negate. So that's pretty cool. So that's all we run. In the latest version, I am playing an access code talker with this. I think I took out either the Crowley or I took out the Dark Cavalry. I either took out Dark Cavalry or Crowley for an access code talker, because I do prefer playing the Link 4. But this is the original version of the deck. So technically, that card is Dark Magician the Dragon Knight, and that card is technically the original version. But because number 89 is more accessible now, that card is also number 89. So that is the original version of the deck for you guys. I'm not going to go into the side deck, one, because my voice is shot now, and I'm ready to quit. But anyways, that is going to be it for the Dark Magician deck profile for the 2020 version. That is also still really great. So anyways, guys, I hope you liked the video, and I'm glad you stayed all the way to the end for me explaining what each card do and why we play it. The reason you don't play 3 Dark Magician is because obviously 3 Dark Magician brick. It's a Dark Magician deck. It's not a brick deck. Don't play 3. Play 2. That's all you need. But anyway, without that, thanks guys for watching all the way to the end. If you liked the video, make sure to leave a like and comment down below what was your favorite part about the video. And without further ado, oh wait, don't forget to sub. Just kidding.